until December 18th, but I'm not going any further than that. So he can deal with all his stuff on the 18th.
This matter has been pending for quite some time. We have to learn these set aside.
Done.
The thing is, Your Honor, that this is my first time handling this case or dealing with this, not privy to the allegation, well, obviously the allegations, but not, the proof that would be considered a strong with future, Your Honor. So I would ask more so for me to be able to effectively represent Mr. McLean and to guide him further to give us one adjournment and the opportunity to review the evidence prior to either setting this matter for trial or making this plea.
Yeah, here's the problem. Our first pretrial was December of 23. He's got other files that are scheduled for the 18th of December.
At first glance, this court session appears calm, but the tone should not be misunderstood. What follows demonstrates how judges manage fairness, efficiency, and legal duty within a crowded docket. The proceeding involves multiple defendants, negotiated pleas, monetary sanctions, personal statements, and a notable instance in which the judge declines to accept a guilty plea because the factual basis is insufficient. Such a refusal is uncommon and legally significant. From the outset, the judge emphasizes case management and accountability. Several matters have been pending, attorneys seek continuances, and the court signals that delays will be limited. The hearing is compelling not only legally, but personally. Defendants describe employment concerns, financial hardship, suspended licenses, and personal loss, all intersecting with court obligations. The judge explains fines, alternative programs in lieu of incarceration, and plea adjustments made in real time. These determinations affect employment, finances, and long-term records. Later, a defendant attempts to plead guilty despite facts that do not legally support the charge, and the judge intervenes. That action reflects judicial responsibility over procedural convenience. The central question becomes whether the court's approach is lenient, balanced, or deliberately firm. Several notable rulings, personal explanations, and a procedural misunderstanding unfold throughout the session.
I'll adjourn this one till December 18th, but I'm not going any further than that. So he can deal with all his stuff on the 18th.
I usually talk about that, whether or not that foundation. Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
So if you can't be here, you can share discovery.
Got
All right. You understand that, Mr. McLean? All right.
And Ms. Manarino now with regards to that evidence. Thank you.
Thank you. What time are we going to do that on the 18th for McLean?
Do you have one of his other presentations?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 25 VB 05110 A and B.
That is for 8:30, so this one would be 8:30 as well.
All right. Who's that with?
You.
All right, so that's live my courtroom on the 18th. We'll get you notice though for this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay. All right, but you got a job, an electrician job interview Wednesday. All right. Anything else you want me to consider? All right. All right, I'll give you a little bit of a break on the money. That's usually a $500 file, but because you're working off a big debt, I'm going to give you a little break on that. Fines and court costs are $300. I'm ordering 4 days on the court work program as an alternative to jail. Can you pay 3 today, or do you want to work that out with Mr. Taylor downstairs? All right, go downstairs, talk about your options on the 3, and get your work program signed up. Get those work days knocked out before you get a job offer for electrician. All right? All right, you're all set. Jacob Jones.
There you go. You're on the court record, Jeff Bob, appearing on behalf of the witness, Jones. Sir. Jacob Jones.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that's set for the arraignment in this matter, we wait full read and stand mute. We also had a chance to pre-trial this case. You have executed plea agreement subject to court approval. In that agreement, Mr. Jones will be pleading guilty to an addict to operate while intoxicated, with the understanding the original charge of driving with a high BAC would be dismissed.
All right, so it's operating intoxicated
Yes, yes, sir.
is the plea.
Prior to that.
Sir, did you discuss your rights and options with Mr. Bowditch?
Prosecutors.
That's him. You understand those rights and the options they give you? You understand the possible penalty for the added charge? Are you pleading guilty to that charge freely and voluntarily today? Did you drive a vehicle in Van Buren Township on October 29, 2025 after you consumed alcoholic beverages?
Yes.
What was your blood alcohol level, if you know? Mr. Bowditch satisfied? I'll accept your plea, Mr. Jones, to the added charge. I'll dismiss the original charge. I'm going to continue your bond, send you downstairs to interview or to schedule with the probation department to come back for an interview and a sentencing. Any questions? You're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Emily Leach. Do the double parking on C. Miss Leach, are you going forward today without benefit of a court-appointed attorney? You've agreed to enter a plea of guilty to a double parking civil infraction? And you've agreed to pay fines a cost of $245, correct? I'll work with you. Yeah, I'll work with you. You want to pick a due date for the money?
I can tell you in first week of January and
All right. So let's see, what would that be? 1, 2. So say by the 9th of January, you can pay it all? You're sure? Okay, you're all set. You're welcome. Haley Lorenzen. Did I say it right? Lorenzen? Are you going forward today without benefit of a court-appointed attorney? You met with the prosecutor and you made a deal, correct? Says here you're going to plead guilty to the added charge of no valid operator license on person. I'll dismiss both your original charges. Is that the deal? You understand the possible penalty for that charge? Up to 90 days in jail, up to $500 fines plus court costs? You understand your rights and options? And you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, yes? Did you drive a vehicle in Van Buren Township on on October 10th, 2025? At that time, was your license suspended, revoked, or denied?
Was not.
Okay. And what's the status? I'll accept your plea, dismiss the original charges. What's the status of your license now?
So I'm trying to figure out ways to.
Okay. Okay, where do you work? For who?
Help, also called neuro restorative.
Okay. Okay. Yep. How long you been with them?
3 years.
Okay. Anything else you want me to consider before I sentence you?
Right now, I'm on leave for work.
This portion of the hearing carries significant emotional weight. A defendant describes complications during pregnancy and financial hardship connected to prior citations. Courts frequently hear such explanations, but the critical factor is the judicial response. Here, the judge remains measured, acknowledging the hardship while still imposing fines and participation in a work program. This reflects judicial neutrality. Violations cannot be dismissed solely because of personal difficulty, but penalties may be structured in a manageable manner. An important legal principle emerges. Unpaid fines and unresolved tickets accumulate over time. The judge's suggestion to consolidate obligations into a single payment arrangement serves as a practical solution to prevent additional enforcement measures or license suspensions.
I should be returning hopefully, and then.
Okay. So you don't have $500 in your pocket. That's all right. I'll work with you. All right. You also owe money on some other files. You know about those? 2023 Romulus tickets?
Yes, so I was going through a very rough pregnancy. I needed to have a vehicle that was available to me and ready.
Okay.
while I was taking it to go get a tire, after learning of losing part of the pregnancy.
Okay.
So I was, after stating the I was going to go downstairs and figure out what I need to do for the.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. On today's file, I'm charging you $500 fines and costs and ordering 4 days on the court work program. So go downstairs, talk about your payment options for this money and the old money. Do something, one big plan, okay? The 4 days on the work program, schedule those as soon as you can, so when you get called back to work, you can go. All right, any questions? No? You're all set? Yeah.
After I speak with her, like, will I have some sort of answer in regards to being able to reinstate my license?
We can't tell you what you gotta do to get your license back. You gotta go to Secretary of State about that. Yeah, what you're going downstairs to do is just get something worked out on all the money you owe us, some kind of payment plan or something. Okay? Good luck with the license. Is it Patrawala? Sir, are you going forward today without benefit of a court-appointed attorney? And how do you say the name? Tahir Patrawala. All right. So the deal is you're going to plead responsible to a civil infraction for noxious weeds. You've agreed to pay fines and costs of $100 and close the file, correct? Can you pay the 100 today? Go downstairs and see our cashier. We'll get you out of here as soon as we can. You're welcome, sir. Good morning, Mr. Medina. I'm McLean. You want an adjournment? I'm not so sure I want to adjourn it.
For some reason, on behalf of Mr. McLean, I understand your honor, this matter has been pending for quite some time. We have to learn we set aside.
Done.
The thing is, your honor, that this is my first time handling this case or dealing with this. Not privy to to the allegation, well, obviously the allegations, but not, the proof that would be.
Yep.
Considered in strong with future, your honor, so I would ask more so for me to be able to effectively represent Mr. McLean and to guide him further to give us one adjournment and the opportunity to review the evidence prior to either setting this matter for trial or being the.
Yeah, here's the problem. Our first pretrial was December of 23. He's got other files that are scheduled for the 18th of December. I'll adjourn this one till December 18th, but I'm not going any further than that. So he can deal with all his stuff on the 18th.
I initially talked about that, whether or not that foundation. Okay, thank you, your honor.
So if you can't be here, you can share discovery.
Got
All right. You understand that, Mr. McLean? All right.
And I will, Ms. Manarino, now with regards to that evidence. Thank you.
Thank you. What time are we gonna do that on the 18th for McLean?
Do you have one of his other presentations?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 25 VB 05110 A and B.
That for 8:30, so this one would be 8:30.
All right. Who's that with?
You.
All right, so that's live my courtroom on the 18th. We'll get you notice though for this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Jamie, the dismissals that were over here, the body's already gone.
The two I put, yes, there was one Heather said was. Okay, yeah.
He's coming back off. He doesn't, he can't do business service because of work. He can't do disciplinary because of work. And he's already doing community service and enrichment for other things. See the guy that's an electrician and he goes to Douglas?
Please. Yes, I know, these are, the same thing.
Yeah, wait.
All right, all you folks waiting for your attorneys to come in?
Oh, well, these are his. All right. Yeah. Yeah, they're all waiting. I just get an attorney from Procedural. We gotta get that issue, we got in the city. Special for the place of the we had, and we was one.
The discussion regarding the work program provides insight into the court's philosophy. The judge clarifies that such programs emphasize accountability rather than revenue collection. When the defendant raises concerns about missing electrician work, the court does not disregard employment obligations. Instead, it offers flexibility by distributing service days over time. This demonstrates an effort to preserve employment while ensuring compliance. Alternatives to incarceration, including community service and structured programs, are designed to reduce jail populations while maintaining responsibility. However, the judge clearly states that financial payment alone cannot substitute for court-ordered obligations.
Is he your attorney or no?
Have you talked to the prosecutor?
It's here.
It's a German?
Yeah. Here, yeah, it's right. We're just waiting on the paperwork.
Mr. Reeves, you got a problem. You owe me time. So work program is an alternative to jail time. It's not a money thing, it's a time thing. Just like I don't let people buy their way out of jail sentences. I know, but I'd rather have it intervene with this job than the electrician job, right? I'm gonna send your file back downstairs to see if you can work it out. I mean, we can spread the days out a little bit. I mean, it's not like you got to get 4 days done in the next 2 weeks. All right, good luck.
Mary Fleet, Davis, last name. The only one I'm looking for in German.
We got a Paul Goldman in the waiting.
I chatted him, that's why he's supposed to be here in person. I don't know. His notice says in person. Delva? I don't have anybody else's file for you. It was Medina's client.
McLean is Medina's. These people said they didn't want an attorney, I think. And we don't have a file for their adjournment.
What is the last, who needs an adjournment?
None of them. Mr. Goldman,
Yes.
activate your camera.
How do I do that?
I don't know. It's not my camera. You're supposed to be here live in person today.
Oh, that's not what I was told by my attorneys. He said just Zoom.
Who's your attorney?
Brad Friedman.
Okay, well, you can let Mr. Friedman know that he's wrong because you're supposed to be here live.
Wow.
Where are you at?
I'm in Belleville, Michigan.
I'm sorry?
I'm at home in Belleville.
Oh. I can't hear you. Southfield?
Belleville, Michigan.
Sorry, I forgot about that. All right, so where's your attorney at?
He's not there. He's not here either.
I don't know. He's not standing in front of me. What time are you scheduled?
9:30 today, I believe.
All right, well, and you're 10 minutes late, even on Zoom. Isn't that nice? So I would suggest you call your attorney, find out where your current attorney's at, because this is a live docket.
Okay, so what would you like? And first off, I was been waiting in the waiting room for 15 minutes.
Yeah, because we're not doing Zoom this morning, so we're not checking the waiting room.
Got it. So well, how would you like me to, I'm so sorry for all the misunderstanding. Would you like me to call my attorney?
Yeah, hence my instruction to call your attorney and see where he's at.
All right, hang on then. Thank you.
No, hang on. Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Okay.
What's the charge at?
Technically violating our Angela.
These parties here are basically just waiting for adjournments by defense. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Potesta, you are going forward today without a court-appointed attorney, is that correct?
Yes,
My understanding is you met with the prosecutor and you're pleading guilty to reckless driving for November 1, 2025, is that correct?
yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand your rights and the options those rights give you, sir?
I do.
And do you understand the possible penalty for the charge?
Somewhat. I don't.
Up to $500 fines plus court costs, up to 90 days in jail, and there's points from the Secretary of State when this conviction gets reported. And I think it's
The explanation concerning reckless driving is notably direct. The defendant admits allowing children to ride in the back of a truck and acknowledges it as poor judgment. While candor is significant, the legal analysis is more complex. Reckless driving requires proof of willful or dangerous conduct beyond mere negligence. A poor decision does not automatically satisfy the statutory standard. The judge carefully examines speed, surrounding conditions, and intent, which are essential elements of the charge. The broader issue is whether legal accusations should
points?
correspond strictly
6
to
points?
demonstrable risk rather than general imprudence.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm aware of that.
all right. And understanding all of that, you're pleading guilty today freely and voluntarily, is that correct?
I am.
All right. Tell me what happened on November 1, 2025 in Van Buren Township to make you think you were reckless driving.
I had my niece and nephew and my daughter. I was over at my wife's house. We're currently living apart. And I went over there to pick them up, and the kids wanted to take a ride in the back of my truck, which the year before we did, but it was up in the country. And it's the first thing they asked me about. And just made a really poor choice. And I did it. I took them out there and I drove around the neighborhood with them. And I got pulled over with them in the back of the truck. And yeah, we all got questioned, and it was a pretty bad experience for everybody.
How old are the kids?
My daughter is 13. My niece and nephew are 9, 10, and 12.
Okay.
So pretty young. I mean, yeah, I don't really have a good excuse for any of it. I had them in the back of the truck, and we were having they were having fun. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was a stupid thing to do. So,
Were you going over the speed limit?
I don't recall how fast I was going. I think I was right. I can't, the roads there are potholes and there's a lot of turns.
Right.
So I was going over probably, I don't recall how fast, but I wasn't ever trying to put them in any danger.
Right. All right. Give me just a second, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Potesta, P-O-T. All right, Mr. Potesta,
Yes, Your Honor.
I sense that you're just really feeling guilty and want to get this over with.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
absolutely.
here's my problem. I don't find that to be reckless driving. I'm old enough that in my day, we used to haul kids around in the back of pickup trucks all the time. So I mean, if you were on 94 doing 70 miles an hour with them in the back of the pickup truck, or if you were in the neighborhood going 55 miles an hour on 25-mile-an-hour streets with them in the back of the pickup truck, maybe I could find reckless, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to ask one of the attorneys, one of the court-appointed attorneys, to get on Zoom and talk to you about this and just figure out how we can resolve this. Because I'm not comfortable taking a guilty plea with that factual basis. Just as if, for example, you were charged with drinking and driving and wanted to plead guilty because you wanted to get it over with, but you told me you weren't drinking and you weren't driving. The facts aren't there to support the plea. Understand?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
All right. So hopefully we're gonna get this resolved for you today, but just bear with me a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I'm just gonna mute you right now. You can stay right where you're at. How about Kiera Poole? Miss Poole, are you going forward today without a court-appointed attorney? All right, my understanding is that you're going to plead guilty to no valid operator's license on person, and the misdemeanor drove while unlicensed would be dismissed. That was the original charge from October 31. And the speeding ticket from October 31 would be dismissed if you plead responsible to an added charge of double parking.
This adjustment in negotiation reflects courtroom efficiency. Rather than opening a separate file for a minor parking matter, the judge modifies the financial disposition within the existing case. Administratively, this reduces documentation and expedites resolution. The exchange also highlights complications arising from licensing issues across different states. The defendant faces difficulty obtaining insurance without a valid license and cannot reinstate the license without proof of insurance. Such circumstances create practical barriers that are not uncommon. The judge acknowledges the complexity of the situation, demonstrating transparency rather than certainty beyond the record.
And you've agreed to pay $220 on that, correct? That's your deal? All right. So I'm going to go along with that kind of. On the misdemeanor, I'll do exactly that. On the speeding ticket, I'm not going to take a plea to double parking because that's just extra work for Heather. I'm just going to charge extra money on the misdemeanor. So from your standpoint, it's the same thing. From her standpoint, it's one other file she don't have to put in the computer. You okay with that? All right. Did you read your rights form? Did you understand your rights and the options those rights give you? And do you understand the possible penalty for no valid operator's license on person? Understanding all of that, are you pleading guilty to that charge? Did you drive a vehicle in Van Buren Township on October 31? At that time, was your license suspended, revoked, or denied? Or you didn't have the proper endorsement? What was wrong with your license?
I'm Bell in Ohio with a reinstatement fee, and I have to do them a reinstatement.
Okay. Okay. So you're suspended out of Ohio until you can do that. Okay. All right. No Michigan license at all. Okay. I can accept your plea to the no valid operator's license. I'll dismiss the original misdemeanor. And are you working? Where do you work?
So,
Okay. And Ohio, you just got to pay some money?
Yeah.
Okay. When are you going to do that? When do you plan on having your license straightened out?
I just have to pay the reinstatement fee. I have no fine, but they said to clear me, I have to have insurance. So I can't get insurance without a license. And
You can't get a license without insurance. So what do you do?
I don't know really. I can't even have anybody add me on without a license. And I can't get license. I can't get insurance here without a card.
Man, that's a new one. And I think it's complicated because it's Ohio. Because you're living here. I wish I had a suggestion for you. All right, anything else you want me to consider before I sentence you? All right, fines and costs, $500. Can you pay that today or do you need options? Go downstairs and talk about that. You're all set.
It looks like she's suspended from us.
In Michigan, you mean? I got nothing on her. Usually I got that piece of paper, I fine.
I'm gonna speak, I just finished speaking with Angela and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, I told him you'd be talking to her. Are you ready? Sharice, is it Osley? Oosley.
Crystal Marie Medina, Your Honor, on behalf of Ms. Oakley, damage you please say your full name for the record. Sure. Your Honor, at this time, my client is prepared to plead guilty. There is an agreement. That's the court. Agreement to be taken under 771.1 for a period of 3 months, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Oosley, did you discuss your rights and options with counsel?
Yes.
Understood those? Do you understand the possible penalty for the charge? Understanding all of that, are you pleading guilty to the charge? Are you doing so freely and voluntarily? Were you at the park in Van Buren Township on October 25, 25 after hours?
Yes.
Satisfied?
Satisfying, Your Honor.
Anything I should consider before I sentence?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court consider that she is employed. She has been employed for 2 weeks at a local factory. 2 years. I apologize. That's what I meant. So for 2 years, and what's the name of the factory, ma'am? I don't have the outcome. On Henry Road next to Auto but
What's the name of it?
Yaco.
What do they do? Okay.
She's working it for 2 years. She does work 7 days a week, is my understanding. She maintains stable residence in Van Buren with her stepfather and her siblings, and she's not currently on probation. So, Your Honor, we would ask that the court consider both fines and costs.
Done. Anything else you want me to know?
The court then employs delayed sentencing as an incentive mechanism by postponing final disposition for 3 months and instructing the defendant to avoid further violations. The judge offers conditional leniency. This approach allows the court to evaluate compliance, employment stability, and conduct before imposing a final sentence. Defense counsel emphasizes steady employment and stable housing, both recognized mitigating considerations. The proceeding therefore addresses not only punishment, but also the defendant's capacity for rehabilitation and responsible conduct moving forward.
I'll delay sentence for 3 months, stay out of trouble for 3 more months. Court costs are assessed amount of $300. Can you pay it today? Go downstairs and talk about your options.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I'm going to get on that.
Thank you.
Where's it?
Somebody else in the hallway. Now, some of that's scheduled later, but all the orange ones, yeah.
Well, you have how many people have noxious weeds?
A lot.
Well, they're not noxious now, they're all dead.
Yeah,
But,
they're not going anymore.
afraid to leave, but there's nobody out there.
I think the last pretrial was scheduled at 9:30, wasn't it?
And then we had the Zoom people, which only one person on Zoom showed. And actually, he wasn't even scheduled for Zoom, but we let him.
What time's our last live?
Your last live.
Or this morning?
Can you put those two in a breakout or can Crystal do it?
Crystal's co-host, but I can switch. I can move them.
Here, I got it now. Sorry. I just realized I am. Thank you.
We have a 10:45 with Angela.
That's our last live for this morning.
Is there a pretrial?
No, just a.
Well,
Oh, formal here?
Nothing for Jeff, though.
10:15 was our last one, and those are the, pre-trials, remote pre-trials.
Well, I can hang out. Seems that, this was, and they scheduled 3 MIDCs for today. So they.
Well, I think what it was is 2 was supposed to be for the Van Buren docket, the normal docket.
Yeah.
And then 1, for whatever reason, they put on for our violation docket, which is fine, except we didn't need them all, but I didn't want to call them and confuse them.
Is what it is.
Yep.
Well, I'll wait a couple minutes and I'll take off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought when you got a DWLS, that with this new law, they don't keep you suspended. This girl, for whatever reason, unless we didn't send it, because she didn't have a license at the time. No, it says we're using her license, it's 30729. Why didn't it clear her? She likes thinking that one people. She hung up back in 19 and 22, just like she did today, and
Read it.
it's your pool. No owner should be here.
This is the update.
Thanks.
There is another one we adjourned off.
Good, thanks.
Tenure cap. But the judge reviewed everything carefully. The victim was 16. The law is clear. No excuses. 2 years in prison. Lifetime registration.
Can you look up this one? Because she's still suspended. 16-3826. Yeah, I'm looking at the item up there, and it says for license suspended. Is she's still suspended, and in fact, all driving privileges suspended. Oh, okay. Great. In 2010, they believed she was not qualified to operate a vehicle separately. Well, yeah, the tickets didn't start till 16. I mean, obviously they must have before then.
This hearing presents a comprehensive illustration of courtroom operations. It includes negotiated resolutions, financial assessments, licensing challenges, personal statements, procedural confusion, and a principled refusal to accept an unsupported guilty plea. Throughout the session, the judge balances fairness with efficiency by offering payment arrangements, alternative programs to incarceration, and deferred sentencing opportunities, while maintaining adherence to deadlines and legal standards. The primary legal principle is evident. Courts prioritize process, factual accuracy, and proportional outcomes over expediency. Whether addressing fine reductions, scrutinizing the factual basis of reckless driving, or navigating interstate licensing complications, the court demonstrates careful deliberation. The proceeding underscores that routine cases often involve nuanced legal judgment. Observers may differ on which moment was most significant, but the hearing reflects the complexity of everyday judicial decision-making.